Captain Sinclair. I hope your ship is well. That only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho ho, on an adventure we go. In the heated digital ice seas, we travel with ease until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very steep hill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go to beyond the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show from WP Army and you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Dock our vessels in the Skullport Harbor. No landlubbers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a drinking field haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to our weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 335. As always, of course, I'm your host, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is the website you'll want to drop by, take a look at. Sign up is free. Be sure as well to check out the show description end of things. Got a lot of great information available for the public via that part of the world, what we've produced down here via Skullport Harbor. We have a Patreon presence. We've got pirate merchandise. If you'd like to support the show, there's other ways of supporting the show other than Patreon or purchase of merchandise as well, digital love, and of course PayPal, Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. That same email address, pirate the numeral 1 radio at protonmail.com, is something to take note of if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas that you'd like to bounce off of us. So, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription, notification buttons, always very much helpful and appreciated, as is passing word along to friends, family, and co-workers. Powerful stuff. As far as the synergetic energy that it unleashes, obviously, really central to the whole underground moccasin telegraph technology, that we have here at our disposal. So that about does it as far as an introduction is concerned. Might as well jump right in and bring into the conversation Mark, courtesy of Rodriguez Productions, who's joining us via his home state of Texas here once again. So just the two of us for now. Mark, thanks for connecting. Not sure if we'll actually. Sonia said that she'd be dropping in after the break. So, and perhaps Robert Morningstar will as well. Anything, of course, could unfold or emerge, occur before then. It's everything is very spontaneous. You probably noticed that yourself with all of the live streaming you've done over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Presumably.
Hey, and thanks for having me in. I know that it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, you've had family hands.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of things going on. Yeah, and, I tried to do a reboot of a show, too, and then it fell through. So, oh, well, things happen. It's life.
Care to talk about that? What exactly were you, did you have that you were working on?
Well, I was going to reboot Cafe Enigma.
Yeah.
And have Roger, take it over. But yeah, I'm very particular with that show, especially the title, since, I did it for 11 and a half plus years. And there's an exact format to the way the show goes, and it doesn't deviate, whether I'm the host or a moderator or not. It's like the news. Headlines come first. You got, the sports, the weather at a certain time, and then, your articles and go out. That's, and basically, if that can't happen, then it can't be that name. So I shelved it once again. Now I may pull it back out and do it myself again, but 11 and a half years is a great run for a radio show. Especially when I hosted and produced it myself, and it was the very first show that I ever did all of that on my own. And it took a year and a half before I even put it on air for research on how I wanted the format and everything to be. So yeah, it's kind of, it'd be kind of like, me coming in and saying, I'm taking over the ship, I'm like, no, that ain't going to work. I'm sure you would say that,
Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, if it's your show, you're the boss. And then if it's our show, watch out, man.
Really,
You be
that's
careful
right.
how you tread.
Yeah, and to me, I looked at it, like any other, show. If someone fills in for, say, Mark Levin, they're not going to do anything else but the way Mark would do it, or any of the others, Hannity, whoever. It has to be done in that format. So that's just how I looked at it. I'm like, no, this ain't going to work. So I'll give it a shot, but no. And the original show was a great show, like any other, based off of history. I've always been into history a lot, and especially fringe type history, like the stuff that they did on In Search Of. And I did some stuff off of Cosmos too, Carl Sagan, and I would take clips, listen to the show, send it to the people, that the show was involved with. We'd listen to that while and then discuss it afterwards, where we were, and then we'd take a break and then come back where we are now, and then finish out with where we're going with that, and what they found out about that topic. And if we had any time left, we'd, do some other discussion and then, give our details and get out. It was a quick, easy 2-hour show. I didn't have to really dig too much for topics because the topics were already there. I just, pulled them from the titles. So
yeah. Speaking of which, have you managed to? I think you just mentioned in the pre-show you were working on accessing the talking points that we put together
yeah, I
for
did
this
get
week.
into there. Yeah, I did get into that. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, sure.
And I do know one thing that when you get to talking about Fukushima, hopefully I'm around while that you talk about that. You will find that no matter where there's been any kind of like nuclear facility or nuclear accident, especially, there is always a rise in sightings of UFO, USO, and also UAP. I declare them all, different because UAP, I believe, are ours. UFO, we don't know because it's unidentified flying object. All right. If it's UAP, well, unidentified aerial phenomena, it may not even go into space and it can't go into the water because they're already declaring it phenomena of that. So it must be ours or, someone we know. So that's how I look at that.
Yeah, and that was one of the talking points that we had within the context. 3/11/11, I guess, was a date. That's really quite something for anyone that's into numerology. Um, 11, from what my understanding is not the best of numbers. Actually, it's very chaotic and troublesome. If you
I'm not
watch
so
out if
much
there's
into the
if there's 11s present. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not so much into the numerology,
Mm-hmm.
but but yeah, that number does come up during bad times a lot.
Mm-hmm.
9/11, 11, anything with an 11
And a
in it
triple too,
or a
right?
date. Yeah,
Three.
yeah.
So
So you got three odd numbers, and the odd numbers usually aren't great, except for seven for some reason.
sevens and nines, isn't that right? Nines and
Sevens
sevens.
and nines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you're rolling dice, sevens and nines are good.
What is a dice game?
Like if in dice games, if you're playing craps or something like that,
Craps, maybe
you
sevens
want
and
sevens
nines.
and nines
Is that
because
right?
that's
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So, all right. Well, just doing a little behind the scenes work here at the moment. I think we can get ourselves up on camera if you're
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
inclined.
If you're not
You know,
if you like my little background there
sure. No, that works.
studio.
If I've got a problem with something, I'll let you or anyone else know. Otherwise, things are just peachy. Just tickety boo. No problems, no complaints. You know, here whatsoever. So, and I mean, I don't even know if we run a real tight ship necessarily, so much as we just let people do their thing. Basically, the bottom line, um, the only one real precept and requisite that we have is don't be a dick. You know, we
Yeah.
can bust each other's balls and take the piss, as it were, but it's supposed to be like all in good fun, without being too mean or malicious. And if I sense that coming from anyone repeatedly,
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem because the captain calls on down Captain Sinclair from Dead Man's Bluff and lets me know that we've got to just have to do a little house cleaning, take care of business. So, but no, it's been pretty smooth sailing most of 2025. A lot of great contributions via, the personalities that have dropped in and worked on lending a hand. Sonia, yourself, of course, Roger, uh, Robert Morningstar, and numerous others. So it's so far. We're in October now. Of course, we have Operation Secret Santa coming up in a couple months. I don't think you were here for last year's event, were you? 10-day.
No, I've only been up with you probably the last maybe 2 or 3 months now.
Which is
Maybe
kind
a
of,
little longer.
which is
Maybe a little
really,
longer.
I mean, everything happens for a reason, I guess, is what
Yeah,
some people say. So, but you and I, we cross paths, and
a
because
few times.
you were
Yeah.
so active over on Mines, and it's like, well, who is this guy? What's he up to? It's like, oh, we should do a show, or at least do a show and see what the deal is. But it seemed like you're very busy, obviously, and keen
Yeah.
on live streaming and promoting others, big time into promoting people and their live streaming efforts. So and that was like what, 3-4 years ago at least, until finally
I
we
think I first ran into you on not on Mines, but over on what's that platform? Not Wix. What's the other one? Oh man.
LinkedIn.
I, huh?
LinkedIn.
Not LinkedIn. You and I crossed paths back in, I believe, 2018. On, I'm looking for what the site is. I still have a site over there, but it's kind of dead right now.
Oh
And
yeah.
I moved everything to the new site that Sonia built for me, which is great. I love it. And I'm getting quite a bit of folks coming in because of her making it the way she did.
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
and I
just
really
a
appreciate that.
powerhouse.
She's outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
I've
know,
been
and
I've been thinking of
kind
actually sending a little in the way of some PayPal gratuity her way. Actually, just I hate to do these sort of things, but mostly because the way I look at it is we're basically all working together, and there are times, even though we're it's cross pollination and a lot of cross promotion and so forth, that there are instances and occasions where sometimes you just got to go that extra mile. Uh, uh, and this is for the work that she's been doing on our behalf with the updating of the homepage and getting some great merchandise available as well. People that have checked out that end of things via galacticfire.com, Pirate, lots of t-shirt and coffee mug options available. Clearly, half of everything that we do manage to generate does go directly back to charity as well. Something which I'm endlessly puzzled. I just don't quite understand why more social media influencers of a more significant magnitude, obviously, people like Alex Jones, who I've kind of lost a lot of respect for lately, unfortunately, and without having to get into it too much, just always
I
trying to.
mean,
But people like him, Joe Rogan, another one who kind of have with this what is that, elephants, the the we got the link down there, it's in the talking points. You might see it there. It really roasts Joe and his whole crew. uh, it's just does a real total tears him a new asshole, basically. And but in a super funny way, just the satirical approach to things. I'm trying to think, what elephant is that now? But we got the link once again, and you can share it, or I can. So, um, but why more people? Why more social media influencers don't promote giving back to the grassroots in any way? Some might quietly, just on the side. But for with us, we think it's important to promote charitable works and challenge others to to engage and to reach out to help people where they can in a skillful way. Obviously, don't want to find yourself in getting totally played by anyone. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Why is it that more so-called and we're all influencers, of course. Even the every homeless person is an influencer, for crying out loud, with their own network too, believe it or not. So, but we're talking people of major high level magnitude here, and why it is that with the huge infrastructure and operating budgets that they have, staff, studios,
Hmm.
why they don't do more. Any
I
thoughts?
think a lot of that has to do with ego. But
They don't even stop to think about
yeah,
others. What's going on? Tim
yeah.
Pool, Candace
But
Owens. I mean, come on.
yeah, well, yeah. For folks like that, there's a lot of ego. I find that even amongst hosts that I have, there there's a certain amount of ego with us, and even with me, but everything, like for anybody that does like donations to sub me, and that all goes to veterans. All that goes straight to a veteran organization that I use, and I promote everything veteran that I can. Um, I don't have anything for Canadian veterans, but if someone sent me something for that, I
Specifically, yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, but like Wounded Warrior and the USO, hey, the troops need to be entertained. It's not all it, it's not all about work and going out there and being in the mud or breaking sweat, doing calisthenics and all that other stuff. If you got to keep your folks entertained too. So and you got everything from USO Wounded Warrior to the DA Disabled Veterans VFW and the American Legion. I promote all those very heavily on my radio streams and on my video streams in chat. I might not mention them so much when I'm not, because I don't want people to be, just overloaded by, pushing the topic or the issue. And when I know that there's a veteran out there like you, and there's a veteran that I support real heavy on Kick. His name is Veterans CA. He does radio DJ work on Kick. I support him heavy because I know he's a vet. He's been there. He's done it. We got to support each other too. So, and it's kind of like that. So, I'm I might not be able to, pay or receive pay, but I can always give back that way so that others can, benefit from that. Sometimes I directly benefit from it, with the one that I promote most heavy on my Kick chat and what's it Kick. My Botrix has a list of the nonprofits that support vets listed that pop up periodically in the stream. So,
Mm-hmm.
that helps. Every little bit helps.
Sure. So, shifting the focus now to news of the week. I'm not sure what you going back to Fukushima, which I mean, it's not
Hmm.
the March. We're in October here, but is this something that appeared on our radar last week actually? And I don't think we got the chance to talk about it the previous show. But yeah, there was major sightings, and so I watched this little documentary on people, Japanese folks who are stepping forward and coming out of the shadows, and it was really like a quasi religious experience what they had with what they saw at the time with the appearance of these celestial lights. uh i I don't recall any craft per se, but something clearly quite out of the ordinary,
Yeah.
which some might chalk up to or attribute to, well, that's just like a nuclear phenomenon because of the accident that occurred. It's interesting, the swamp gas, the old
Well, yeah.
swamp
Yeah.
gas explanation that's the playbook that that
Well,
they frequently turn to.
well, I kind of agree with that in some respects, especially when it comes to like the paranormal side. Oh, I see these orbs in this place
Uh-huh.
now. I'm like, okay. Before World War II, you never saw orbs. Okay. But after like the detonations of, Big Boy and all that, no, then you started seeing and hearing more about that, and even more once we went to digital.
Foo
So
Fighters,
because the digital, yeah, the Foo Fighters, yeah,
yeah,
but during that time,
but that was
they were
That was
experimenting.
World War Two.
They were experimenting
Yeah.
with that,
Mm-hmm.
and when you start tampering with nature on a nuclear level, all
Uh
right,
huh.
it, we all know that if you mess with a molecule over here, the vibrations felt someplace else as well.
Spooky action
On a
at a
similar,
distance.
yeah, even with the distance.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I kind of understand that, but that's just kind of me. And I always wonder now why these paranormalists, when they go into these places and that, they're not taking in any Geiger counters anymore. They're just trying to look for EMF. I'm sure radiation will show up as some kind of EMF as well, but is it really the thing that you're trying to detect when you're seeing that kind of, or having that kind of um, effect coming out that you're you know filming or even they're seeing? That's just me. But you never hear folks do that anymore. Geiger counters, that's old school. Yeah. Okay. uh, People still use dowsing rods for it. That's old school, but you don't hear anybody talk bad about that. I'm trying not to take you too far off a topic, but keep it still in line with Fukushima. And I can understand how those things can happen. And
Well, that's the thing is, it could be this, it could be that, but
yeah,
my thoughts are that it's something otherworldly, or where you with the look at CERN for example, and what they're up to with
oh my God, we
searching the God particle, perhaps, or
yeah,
0 point
doing it on our
energy.
planet.
But
Good place to start, right? Well, if you were really serious about doing something like that, why wouldn't you put it in space, far, far away from us? That way, if something terribly bad goes wrong, well, at
but
least we'll have You
They don't
know,
care. They feel their
yeah,
reckoning is constantly. They say the price is worth it. So what
yeah.
if we destroy the whole world? You know, with this one small miscalculation, like with the whole setting off of the first nuclear bomb. I think that was on the table, and that was what a lot of people that were the Manhattan Project, I guess, they were concerned about. But the science, um, endlessly, it's you hear time and again, the price is the risk is worth it. So there, which is pretty psychopathic when it comes right down to it. And you know, speaking of which, I, I researching the whole and one of those things, I guess, with chaos, the Manson murders, and CIA, MK Ultra, and the way author Tom O'Neill, with the book that he put out just a couple of years ago now, I guess, sort of really managed to reveal that. Wow, I mean, Bugliosi. Speaking of nut jobs, and people that are just total narcissists, of the of the highest order, basking in the glory of their own, you know, verbal, however it is that they look at it. Basically, it came out that like Bugliosi was a whack job, really. With the things that he was getting up to in his personal life, how he was handling things throughout the course of that case, and so forth. But I mean, the point is, as bad as Manson was, and he always got others to do his dirty work, of course, where he could, where that was possible, always got others to take care of business. That as much as a psycho as he was, that look at the state, how the state operates, the democide, as it's known, the blood that they have on their hands, where once again they reckon the price is worth it, or however it is they manage to rationalize and spin and frame things, which then in turn the public are expected simply to consume, you know, wholesale. Eat it up, folks. I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear or not, but yeah, as bad as people like Manson are, look at the state, and ask yourself, like, there's no comparison really. If you look at the body count, there's just no comparison whatsoever. Democide in the 20th century, oh my God, just it's so far off the charts, and the way that they've started things now with the whole scamdemic, you see, because uh, I guess the game plan is that there's only a limited number of wars that they can initiate, and then you have to, because of the lethality of the weapons, that uh, you have to really be careful in containing things, as per what we're seeing via the Ukraine, Gaza, and so forth. So what instead they've had to do is produce, because they want to get rid of as many people as possible without all under completely as they see it. We're talking like the World Economic Forum, all the major high uh, profile globalist think tanks, steering committees, NGOs, big corporate, big pharma interests and whatnot. That come here, Danny. It's our little special needs mascot, pirate kitty, 3 legs and all. I mean, we didn't know at the time. Story that we often share here. We didn't know that he'd end up, you know, in this role, but lo and behold, here he is. So, what more could you, what more would you really expect on a virtual pirate ship than a three-legged kitty? Of course, we even rigged up a little deal for his leg, of course. But he, the way it is, the way things work here, it's just incredible how he's able to motor around the house, and he's managed to settle in quite nicely. So, but yeah, that so basically, silent weapons require wars. I guess is one way of looking at it. And just Bertrand Russell, that goes back to the likes of Bertrand Russell, who talked about it through injection, injunction, and diet. I think was how he put it, as far as maintaining a cap or a level on world population. Uh, so you can only kill off so many in these bloody military conflicts. That the another option that they're left with is to be more once again, silent weapons for quiet wars, and not be so upfront or blatant as far as what their ultimate agenda actually entails. So yeah, injunction, which is more the legal end of things, but injection with the kill shots. Well played, Rockefellers, and Club of Rome and others, of course. So and diet, my God, look at all the additives and chemicals and just nasty things that are put in our foods. Something that thankfully RFK Jr. is pushing back on. So, but I'm not sure if there's anything more you'd like to talk about here, just right off the bat. Hopefully, we I think we said enough as far as Fukushima itself is concerned. Not a huge issue this particular week as far as what's on people's minds. Although maybe for some, the death of Jane Goodall at the age of 91 would be. Uh, I don't know. I guess she did some good work in some regard, although another useful idiot, frankly, as far as the whole phony green agenda, you know, net zero carbon. Can you just imagine? Like, is that maybe going to be the next issue where people are being banned from YouTube? That they're shutting people down for how dare you challenge that particular the narrative? We're telling you, like, net zero. So another product of via the Club of Rome and which is, I guess, it's a Rockefeller uh, enterprise basically. So, but yeah, she was. That's all she could really talk about. Cutting back in carbon, even though it's the same, and not and there's different carbons. I think people are so stupid, they don't even stop to think, and it's like they're confused between carbon and CO2, carbon dioxide, and just straight up carbon. So one which I think is, clearly, we do you know how much carbon there is to the atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere? How much we really have? Apparently, I didn't know this until recently. You still there with us, Mark?
It's like what, 20% or something like that?
No, no, no,
No,
no.
it's not that much.
Nope. It's a heck of a lot, even less. Like, which really surprised me.
Really?
Yeah, 0.006%.
Okay.
So far, that's 10. Like, less than 6/1000th of a percent. And this is what they're waging war on. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
it makes a lot of sense because if if you have a greenhouse effect, or even a greenhouse, there's more carbon inside the greenhouse than there is outside the greenhouse. That's why the plants grow bigger.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right. And that's why the dinosaurs grew bigger, because there was more carbon in the air, and plants grew bigger, and everything grew bigger because there was so much more carbon. So I guess they want to make it even less, so that they'll make us even smaller. I guess we're supposed to be the size of grays.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know.
great point. That's a great point.
Yeah, or is that why grays are the size they are? You know.
Yeah, who knows? They seem to have some difficulty with our environment, though, from the sounds of things, and like in adapting.
Prob-
Happy
Too
Chuseok
much
to you
carbon.
as well, Zane Ivy, a fellow Korea-based expat, originally stateside, as per yourself, of course, Mark. So yeah, it's a traditional Korean Thanksgiving and holiday, which I even toyed with the idea of maybe not even doing a show, a news stream this week. So here we are, nonetheless. Thank you, Joshua, as well, for your support via Facebook. We've got Cliff Rockefeller, who is going to be joining us in the feature guest hot seat this coming Friday night, 8 p.m. out on the West Coast, 11 via the East, places such as New York, Miami, Toronto. So Friday night, mark that on your calendars. Uh, 12 noon, Saturdays here via the Tokyo and Seoul time zone. Anarchy, bike riding, and we're talking motorbikes now. Uh, Anything pretty much. He seems like a real Renaissance man, and a whole host of fascinating subjects. Although anarchy and rebellion, and front and center as far as what he is wanting to discuss. So, in fact, I could probably pull up his bio here and see what more he actually had on his mind. But economics and social media, you name it. He sounds like a real, what is the word, raconteur? Renaissance man. Once again, anything goes. A whole host of areas, talking points, themes, interests, anything that people pretty much would like to bounce off of him as far as their questions are concerned. My main, uh, speaking of Rockefeller, he's Rockefeller, not to be confused with Rockefeller. But if there is any relationship whatsoever, so I guess we'll eventually find out here, won't we? But not sure where we have that saved under exactly. Maybe well, you go into our email as well too, I suppose. But one of the questions, as far as Rockefellers go, is: have you ever heard the story of Michael Rockefeller, who was a cultural anthropologist? I guess he really was not, for the time being at least, keen on the whole, the financial world domination angle, insofar as what most so many other of his family, blood relatives, dedicated themselves to. Cultural anthropology. He ended up, so the story goes, being cannibalized.
Or
Uh,
so they say.
you have you?
I did a
Yeah.
show on him. I
Oh,
actually
okay.
did a show on him
All right.
years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting. To me, you know, I, I don't believe that he was cannibalized. I believe he was assassinated by his own family.
Think so, huh?
That's just me. That's just my belief. If you really look down through the history of the family, and Michael was gay, all right, and that wasn't cool back then, and he came out of the closet, all
Oh,
right.
did he? I had no
Grandpa,
idea.
yeah, and Grandpa and Dad were not happy about that.
I see.
So and when you got money, I mean, You're talking about the same group of people, even the Kennedys. You have the Kennedy daughter that was lobotomized.
Speaking of cannibalizing your own, the royals. I
Yeah,
mean, they all do it, don't they? They eat their
yeah.
young,
I mean,
literally.
that's part of their, they they believe because they have, so they can do. And
Ritual, throw them under the bus, ritual
yep,
sacrifice. Yeah.
and it doesn't matter if it's family.
Well, and it does, and the thing about it sends a clear message to any, you know, up and comers, I suppose, anyone who's alive at the time, and any future, you know, children that are brought into the world and raised, you know, in that environment. So that's an interesting theory. I don't think that's true based on the claims that I've heard. And the reason I say that is you've heard of the Y files, I guess, right? Most of us have. Most of our
Oh
listeners.
yeah,
Yeah.
I watch him from time to time.
Okay.
He's pretty interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
him and the little goldfish.
Yeah, hecklefish. Hey, what's up with that? Oh no. Oh, why? Somebody save me.
something. Yeah. Well, okay, hecklefish. Keep it down. Uh, and a lot of people are, oh, get rid of the fish, get rid of the fish. But frankly, I mean, the fish hecklefish is, he adds, that's the comedic lightheartedness that we need in discussing these heavier subjects. You have to, I mean, it's otherwise you you run more of a risk of really going crazy. So it's
Oh
one way
yeah, and
to
then on top of
sanity.
that, you you got to entertain your audience, and not a show, even our shows. All right, they're just like food. Some people can take them in and say, "Oh man, that was delicious," and other people will be like, "Man, I ain't eating that broccoli. I don't care what you put on top of it. I will not eat it."
I'm not buying it.
The same thing. I'm not buying it.
Hmm.
All right,
Well, that's
and
sure.
it works the same way.
Well,
All
that's
right.
what it's all about. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
We need to not only engage in dialogue and conversation, but to stimulate thought and critical thinking, back and forth. That's hopefully to bring about some clarity to the issues. Clearly, that because there's so much happening throughout the course of each and every uh, weekly news cycle, we have such limited memories, short and limited. And the fact is, we're cut off from most of the world, even with the internet. There's just too much to keep track of and to stay abreast of, as it were. Uh so by the way, we've got a little, not quite 10 minutes left here. So um and that's why we've dedicated ourselves, to keeping the show going. Basically, it is always appreciated when we are able to entice our listeners, to inspire, and put it however you want, to bring them to the point where they say, yeah, this is worth supporting, and not just in an attaboy kind of way. If we had a like a doubloon or a dollar for every attaboy that we'd managed to rack up through the course of our, I think this is our 10th year of live streaming, that we could probably retire, I'm sure, easily by now. But what we really require are donations to PayPal, and support through the purchase of merchandise, helping to spread the word. Very critical, obviously. Um, Digital love, once again, and you know, uh, Patreon or what have you, just creatively thinking outside the box, making things happen. So, but that's our job here as actors, essentially. You could say activists, but more like engaged. Some people don't even like the term citizen, but people who are engaged. I had this conversation with I forget who exactly a while back, and it boiled down to just people. Forget about citizens. It gets a little too closely to ending up in the category of subjects, of which I think that's what Canadians are essentially by law, legally speaking. Not that it's necessarily lawful, because it seems to invoke a sort of master-slave type relationship, subject to the crown, subject to the church or what have you. So, but dialogue, sure, dialogue, conversation, and always valuable and appreciated whatever feedback we are able to elicit and see come our way via the wider listening public. So before we cut away to break, I'm just going to revisit what we see taking place over here on Facebook. Folks that seem to appreciate what we're doing here as far as the digital ID. We should talk a little bit more about this Prison Planet, central part really to the whole Prison Planet agenda, what they essentially, the powers that be, are working on implementing and bringing about. Not only Cliff Rockefeller, Christian Latilla, Sonia Morris, that's Sonia Galactic, of course, Robert Benson, Coley Weber, Peter LeMay, or Lama, take your choice, Michael Carey, James Taha, Bobby Richardson, Kevin Edwards, Joshua Allen Huckle, and Zolka Adam. Thank you to all of you. So there we go. And not sure if there's more that you'd like to share here before we.
Oh yeah. Let me.
Yeah.
I'm broadcasting this out on D Live, Kick, Twitch, and over on our active folks over in Kick or Hazard FTW. We have Black Eyed Chicken and Manu 25 TV, as well as Ax Batarod and Veterans Radio, of course, and Human Ghost in the Kick chat. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah.
And let me take a look over who's in our. We got Great Conspiracy probably restreaming us too from D Live, over in D Live, and probably MC Dirty Work as well.
Oh, MC Dirty Work. Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we know them.
Great guy. He's on with me. Well, not with me personally, but he's on with Nancy on Wednesday, tomorrow night. Plus, he does his own thing on D Live Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays or something like that in the mornings. Yeah, great guy.
Good stuff. So,
and then you always and we have Roger coming in too. I think Roger's I think Roger right now is looking for a break.
I don't see Roger anywhere.
Yeah, Roger.
Where is
Roger has been pretty stressed out lately from what I've,
Oh, yeah.
we've been talking to that, and he does so much.
I don't see how he can pull it off.
Yeah, I used to do that with radio. I used to put 65 hours of radio in a week. I'm like, nah. And I see Roger, I'm like, man, if I was a kid, maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
But hey, we're not kids anymore, guys.
Getting
all right?
the old men and women.
You have to, we have to learn to pace ourselves with our age. I'm not saying that we're old. All right, I'm just saying we just need to pace ourselves.
We're
All
getting
right.
older.
Yeah,
Not
we're
getting any
getting older.
younger.
I mean, as far as broadcasters on these types of platforms, we're probably on the bottom of the older, as far as like the younger crew. you know, I do have a few folks that are in their 70s that come in, and go in with us, but still, you know, I we're going to get cut off here
Yeah.
real soon.
And
I can see
Sonia
that.
is waiting in the wings too, wondering why
Yeah.
we didn't give her a call. It's because we interpreted your message to mean that you wanted to join us after the break, potentially with Robert Morningstar. So
Yeah, and then what I'm gonna do is once you guys get going there, I'm probably gonna need to head out myself. It's really great hanging out with you.
yeah, man.
Either way,
Thanks for
all
the
right.
support.
I'll stick around as long as I can, and
You'll have a big
I'll keep you
link.
up as well.
Thanks, brother. You'll have a link as well. We'll add to the archived end of things: Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute. So
Yeah,
good
yeah,
stuff. So
appreciate it.
all right. And
Yeah.
as far as give us your times when you stream.
Oh, tomorrow I start at. I'm gonna start at 5:30 Central.
And this is
So
which
that means
show?
Censorship Sucks will be the very first show. And we're going to have Brent Hamachek from Human Events. He also works with, Turning Point USA.
Really?
And then on the second hour, we have Angel Munoz from Beam. The CEO of
You're
Beam will be
kidding.
with us. No.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That's what's scheduled for tomorrow.
Vixen's
Hopefully it'll
Vault
all work
next
out.
day, I guess. Great stuff.
No,
We'll want
Vixen's
to hear
Vault
more.
same day, just later on, and then in between we got Jack Carey with Paranormal Intelligence Agency.
He was great. We had him
Yeah,
as a featured guest a month or so ago, and thanks to you. I guess Sonia, she helped out a little bit with that as well. So yeah, we had a really great conversation with Jack. People can find those shows in the archived end of things as well. Who else do you have as far as your stable of talent? Whoops, I guess we just lost him actually. So we'll work on reconnecting here after the break. Uh, Brought to you courtesy of Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, along with the CannaSense Cannabis Collective. That's all, pretty much always the deal, isn't it? So, uh, Sonia saying we got a pretty decent dynamic on air. That's good to hear. Well, so do we, you and I, Sonia, uh, Roger, and everyone that helps make the show the success that it is. You know, it works for a reason. So, but yeah, once again, it's a Chuseok holiday, Thanksgiving holiday here in South Korea. We weren't even sure if we would be putting a show together this week because of that. It's been a pretty laid back and relaxing time, all things considered. I've had some back issues, unfortunately, and a lot of suffering on that front, unfortunately. But we're working our way around it and making the most of what could be even a worse situation than what it is. Art Bell had a lot of back pain too, as memory serves. So you wouldn't hear from him from time to time because I don't know. I'm not sure if he found it easier to be on air when he was in a standing position or what exactly, but it just everything's it's variable, of course. So uh as it was, I had an operation almost 20 years ago now, and had a couple herniated discs that had to take a look at. There, I was laying here paralyzed in bed, actually couldn't even move. That's how bad it was, and it's something that had been plaguing me for since my teenage years. One night was at a hockey practice and just kind of fell to the ice in a pretty seemingly not all that serious way, actually. Just fell on my side, and it was suddenly, I guess, it was a sciatic nerve issue that was suddenly having to deal with. So one doctor at that time, even his diagnosis was that it was arthritis, along with potentially a sciatic nerve. So I'm not sure he was able to tell that through the X-rays or what exactly, but a good old country doctor, Dr. McGee. He did a lot of great work over the years. Dedicated his life to his practice, as it were. Isn't it interesting the way lawyers practice, doctors practice, two really critical areas? You would think that they would actually have their act together before they would start laying their hands on you or getting involved in your life to the point where it could end up potentially finding you confined to a jail for who knows how many years. And that's all because they're practicing and maybe not practicing all so well. So, yeah, when is it that we'll get past that point of practicing? Music is another example, obviously. Practicing our music, trying to get it, improve, do a better job. I suppose you practice live streaming as well. Practice finding your voice, as it were. And there's one or two more other examples. I think people get the point. So, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas with any order of $25 or more. Let Ryan know simply one of two things, either simply Pirate Radio or Pirate Code. You will immediately be able to unlock a 10% discount. That's the way they roll. Great to have that support. Of course, people rave endlessly regarding the quality of the product, of course, and the relief and nutrition and life that it brings to them. So definitely worth taking a look at. Meanwhile, on the CannaSense Cannabis Collective front, 5813 is our referral link, 5813. We'll be back here in just a flash, folks. Do not touch that computer mouse or radio dial.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CannaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CannaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herbs' mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items, freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. choosing from any of their caffeine-free headache relief or rest and relaxation blends. History has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon, herbs and teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief. We are back with the second half of what we have to offer here this week, second hour of show number 335, World Pirate Radio News. Of course, we had Mark, CEO, leading light of Drigas Productions, joining us here during the first hour. And we will just right now in the process of seeing who else is out there and available. No idea. It really does vary from week to week. So we got Danny here, our special needs three-legged pirate kitty. Okay, looks like we have at least one addition. Robert Morningstar, welcome via Manhattan, USA. How you doing, Robert?
Thanks, I'm doing well.
Great.
That was quite a good experience yesterday.
Oh, the after show we put together, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
I'm in the afterglow of the after show.
Ah, that's a good lyric. Afterglow of the after show.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, nice little rhyme to it. So, what's on your mind then exactly? Besides, oh, and by the way, we've got that monitor issue again. So if you could just turn that down, it will probably manage to immediately.
Yeah, I was watching a movie. I was watching a movie that scared the hell out of my friend, so we stopped watching.
What was that?
I'm going to send out the link tomorrow. It's called The Fourth Kind. It's a movie made about, I don't know, 2005 or something like that. It takes place in year 2000 in Nome, Alaska. It's about alien abductions and UFOs. Very, very realistic, very telling, actually accurate. It's a dramatization of experience of a psychologist in Nome, Alaska, who starts to interview multiple people who are under duress. They can't sleep, they're neurotic, and she starts hearing the same story from all of them. They can't sleep, they're awakened at night by an owl. And I'll let it go from there. It's a unique combination. It combines video and film, and it purports to say that the video is supporting the dramatization that you're seeing in the film. And it works very well to convince the viewer that they are watching reality. No, it's a good movie. I'll send it to you. I can put it in the chat since I am watching it.
And what is the title once again?
The Fourth Kind. I saw it when it opened in New York. And let me see, does it have the year? It's a long, long time ago, maybe 2010, possibly earlier than that.
Okay. So
I'll give you the link. It's worth seeing.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty.
Jill is laughing because she got scared.
Oh, yeah? Are you...
It's a frightening movie. It's very realistic and upfront about the problem, including the psychological problems of alien abductions and repressed memories, imposed amnesia, I would call it. Let me see if the link.
Something with the central nervous system that we have, which they are able to override, is what it seems. Sonia, how are
Short
you?
circuit.
Short circuit
Hi.
our central nervous system. That sounds about right. It's crazy. Yeah, wild. Hi, Sonia. Hey, great.
Hi.
Yeah.
I love
Back.
the wallpaper, the background you've got there.
Thank
It's
you.
perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good to see you guys.
yeah, your message that you left there, I was just my take on that was you were just wanting to connect with us here in the second hour and not before then.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the case. Although since I didn't get the call, I didn't even know the show started. So I
Oh,
had to check it out. Then I happened to be free. So I thought
okay.
and I couldn't find a place to join. I was like, oh my God, what happened?
And we got Naroki 5 here.
Naroki, yeah.
For
Hey,
who knows
Naroki.
how long.
Hey,
out of
Robert.
Edmonton,
Hi.
Nice to
Alberta.
see you.
So
Nice
why
to see
doesn't
you too.
everyone introduce themselves? Starting, I guess, Sonia, you're there. So, and then maybe over to Robert, and hopefully by that time, Naroki will be able to unmute himself here via Teams.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Okay, Sonia.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so yeah, hi, Sonia Galactic, T-shirt wizard, and also maybe podcast starter. I'm thinking about it. It might happen
Right.
here soon.
Okay.
So there's that, and network magic kind of thing, or as far as people go, not
That's
in
right.
the actual internet. But there we go, and that's pretty much it. Galacticfire.com.
Out of Phoenix, Arizona. That's right.
Out of Phoenix. That's right. Thank you, Jeff.
Mhm. Soon to be hitting the road here, hopefully. When is that exactly?
Yeah.
Any idea?
Well, it's coming up here pretty soon. I probably am not going to get out of here before November is what I'm thinking. It's
Oh.
kind of what it's looking like. So
Won't it be kind of cold?
yeah, it will be. But I'm staying on the southern. I'm just going to Texas right now. So, it shouldn't be too bad.
And are you planning on
Nice.
are you planning on hitting a few conventions? Is that right?
Eventually,
Public
yes.
speaking
eventually.
events?
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
necessarily as a guest speaker, but to meet and
Right.
greet and
As a
then to
vendor.
flog the merchandise. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you feel it's in any way worth, what do they charge? Between $400 and $500 at least for it to
Yeah,
have a table?
usually 4 and 6, somewhere around there, maybe 2,
That's
depending on how big the venue is.
crazy. How
It
many?
is crazy.
Oh my God! You've got to
That's
sell like.
been the going rate for years. So
Jeez, you got to sell like 200
It's not bad.
T-shirts and or items, at least 300 just to break even.
It's good to team up with someone, who's also vending something or another.
Yeah. Hey, if I was there,
So-
what I would do would be to support you with street busking. No, really. Seriously,
thank you.
no, I'd be out there street busking right next to you, and then kind of just
Sweet.
amp up the vibe. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in spirit, maybe we can talk more about that later. We could work an angle. Who the hell knows? Robert out of
Right.
Manhattan, New York, USA, as once again the horror movie aficionado, among other things.
Well, film aficionado, all genres. I love all genres. I don't have a particular favorite, but yeah, I admire film, good film. It's a wonderful medium. I was watching a program very nostalgically. Came across a piece of Tchaikovsky music that took me back to being 8 to 12 years old, watching a program called The Passing Parade. And I decided to show my friend an episode of it, mainly for the theme, which is taken from Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. And I love the music, but I didn't know where it came from. It took me 65 years to find out. And so it was a very happy moment. But the episode I chose was about film preservation in the 1940s, so that people of the future would be able to look back and see what history was like. And they chose February 1st, 1999. And I remembered seeing it when I was a kid and thinking, am I going to live till 1999? And seeing February 1st, 1999 flipped me out. It's now 26 years ago, and we passed it a long time ago. Great. There was a radio announcer who became a narrator for film and producer named John Nesbitt. And he was, I think he was instrumental in making me a news person, because I just absorbed every episode of the passing parade. And it was a documentary. It was a different subject every week. Very well done and excellently narrated. So here's where I wound up, making films. And oh, by the way, I'm very happy to report that Mr. Fitzgerald saw the film that I showed you, and he liked it very much, and he's looking forward to the distribution of it and the expanded version. I'm going to extend it from 53 minutes to an hour and a half to maybe 2, and the ultimate secret of the JFK assassination.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be the climax. That'll, after I do all the who done it, how done it, why done it, then it's going to end with what you saw.
And that's, of course, what's JFK's nephew, is that right?
No, his cousin.
His cousin that you were working with on that. How about that? So, and just, we got to move along to Naroki, and looks like Mark is back as well here too. So just people can find you via Substack, Robert Morningstar.
Facebook. My Substack is robertmorningstar.substack.com. And I'm on Revolution Radio on Sundays and Mondays. A on Sunday, B on Monday, 3 on Sunday, 10 on Monday, as you well know. And we're doing an after show. Jeffrey and I are doing an hour afterwards that's recorded. We did a very interesting thing last night. We analyzed the WOW signal that came from Sagittarius back in 1977. And it inspired me to compare the sound with the sounds of crickets slowed down maybe 100 times, which turns it into a choir. And we found frequencies that were common to the cricket chatter and the WOW signal. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I really think, I still believe you should take those two audios and have them blend them together and share that with George next time you drop by Coast to Coast.
I already did it. You were there. I already blended them. What I need to do is have them analyzed, and I'm working on sound analyzers. I already am lining up people to study it.
All right. Naroki. Thank you, Robert. Naroki 5, host of Red Pill Nation Hangout. We're still. It's been a while since I've actually been able to join you during one of your live streams. It's kind of up. You have a pretty erratic schedule, is what it seems, because of.
Well, I do because of what's been going on in terms of my previous employer. I have an actual site, and I do 4 days on, 4 days off. The only thing is, and this is going to be the case with me probably up until the end of November, is that I'm picking up. In fact, I'm working an extra shift tonight. Which fortunately gives me the time to jump in. I mean, because it's a fairly quiet site, which enables me to jump on. It's going to be, I'm going to be kind of all over the place until November. And then I would like to say that I'm going to be on this day at this time, but it's like 4 days on, 4 days off. It's like, like every fourth week, I'm going to have to move it. Like, for instance, I was going to do, hold on a second here. Let me think. I was going to do, let me think, which one was it? I think it was 463 I did with V here a few days ago. Hold on a second here. And let me just take a look. Yeah. No, it was 462. And I've fallen so far behind on my live streams that I'm actually been doing, was literally on almost every day on my days off over the last few weeks. And I got reasonably caught up on that sort of thing. 463 is scheduled for the 12th of October at this point at 9:45 in the afternoon. And then I'm going to probably do 464 like the day after.
Okay. Well, you've got a Rumble channel, and how else can people find your Minds, I think, as well?
Yeah, I'm on Minds. Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, MGTOW TV, Brighteon, YouTube. I actually do have a WordPress. I guess I'm going to have to say that's probably the best place to get a hold of me. Though I haven't been using it very much lately. But I mean, mine's Gap, MeWe,
Yeah.
Facebook, Getter. And of course, I actually do have a Discord now. I actually have an active Discord channel. And I'm also on Kick and Twitch. And yeah, I do have a WordPress. I'm going to have to throw that one in there as well. And I did make some tentative steps towards getting a Substack because I've been trying to get my Subscribestar up and running. But you can't do anything on Subscribestar till they validated your account, and Subscribestar takes months to validate accounts.
It's like a Patreon alternative, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like one of the suggestions for a Patreon alternative was Substack, although I don't know how Substack works at this point.
Oh yeah.
Right, but I mean, I'm probably going to have to go. Like, I don't know how the payment faculties work over on Substack and whatnot.
Get on YouTube. Get on YouTube. I'm sure there's lots of tutorials or people that can help provide.
Yeah, because it's like there's a Subscribestar just doesn't subscribe. They're not very competent over at Subscribestar, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's your main thing, and yeah, Red Pill Nation Hangout. You're a longtime resident of Edmonton, doing security. You've you helped to build pipelines and a whole host of other, I guess, blue collar type jobs over the years. So whatever it takes to pay the bills.
Yeah, Robert Morningstar. It's kind of ironic because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about because we make this big joke about Rusin and the gimp suits and whatnot. You've heard it before, right?
Yeah.
But I ended up having another conversation about alien abductions here. And I just remembered an old interview that Art Bell had way back in 2003. And, Art Bell, this guy who was on Art Bell, he was talking about how, in ancient times, they still had abductions, except it was fairies and wee folk and whatever. And the consistent pattern through all of these is that they seem to be really focused on getting human DNA, specifically reproductive cells, is what they really. It doesn't seem to matter whether it's the space alien, like the alien abductions now, or the fairies and whatnot that were doing it back in the Middle Ages, or whatever. They all seem to be focused on getting a hold of human DNA, specifically the reproductive DNA.
Yep.
Is there a question you have for Robert then, or something you'd like him to?
No, that was that just came up in conversation.
Okay.
I just jumped in when Robert was talking about
I'm glad you brought it up.
Let him respond,
you brought it up and you mentioned the fairies, because I point out that in Western literature, the earliest and most detailed description of an alien abduction is actually in Shakespeare. Can you think of the play? It's in Shakespeare.
Tempest?
No. Midsummer Night's Dream.
Macbeth? Would it be No.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay.
Where the fairies, Oberon and Puck, enchant a bunch of humans and turn bottom into a mule or a donkey, and they make people fall in love with the wrong person. That's part of the comedy. This
trickery,
deception, but because through a magic potion that they put on the eyes of the lovers, Oberon wants to make the right person fall in love with the right person, but Puck misidentifies them and he mixes it up, and that creates this farcical comedy where the person that's in love with the right person is no longer loved. But it's actually what's called the alien love bite. There's a lady named Eve Lorgan who wrote a book, Alien Love Bite. and it's about how aliens intrude in people's lives. They will change a relationship. They will transgender a person. A person will be a straight male or a female, and then they have this encounter with the alien, and the alien alters their gender identity, and it's called the Alien Love Bite. So that's one of the grudges I have against aliens. You know, I don't think they belong in.
Here's another one that came up. It came up recently. Unicorns and sphinxes and all of those creatures of ancient legend. One of the theories that's been floating around was that those may have been quote unquote ancient aliens toying with the DNA of various creatures on the earth when they were here allegedly for the first time, right? And these creatures would only be able to survive in sheltered environments, which is why they went extinct. That was just a theory that got posted up at one point. And it's like, yeah, that.
Oh man, I'm not sure why.
Presence. It's a great presence. Great presence.
Sorry, did you hear me? We lost audio
Yeah,
on
and
this
also-
this end here. Can you guys hear me? Anyone? Hello?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, we lost audio on this end, so that's why
Yes,
I'm.
I hear you.
Yeah, what happened was I got these launched the screen share feature here, and that is when the program, the teams wanted to freeze up. It does this on a routine basis, so we've got to remember to take care of that before bringing others on board in the future. Robert, careful with the monitors, with the volume on your end. Just if you could bring that to a minimum, because it is both. Actually, I heard Naroki bleeding through as well. But anyways, continue the conversation. Sorry for the interruption.
Another theory that got thrown out there, and it was actually brought up in a book at one point. Vampires have a very, very simple digestive system, but they are uniquely suited to function in a zero gravity, low light environment.
Who said this?
You know, so the possibility here is that vampires as well may have been genetically modified humans or other genetically modified creatures designed. That's why they can't function in bright light. They were actually designed a very simple diet. You didn't have to worry too much about food with them. Working in a low light environment where they're not as vulnerable to physical damage or whatnot, and like not able to function in bright light because they'd be working continuously in a low light environment. Very economical in terms of space travel. And they like I said, they don't function very well in a bright light environment because they would almost be like almost perfect in terms of space travel.
Where does this
Right?
come from,
Low
Naroki?
food.
Who came up with this speculation?
This actually came from a sci-fi book, but it's actually, I can't remember where I saw it one point, but somebody suggested to me that it was like, that might explain the origin of vampires, right? Like vampires are very, very well suited for space travel. Low dietary needs, can survive in much harsher conditions than a human can. Low light environment, right? It's like and that would explain their vulnerability to sunlight, right? Like because they function in low light environments, right?
Well, I mean, yeah,
So,
assuming that vampires actually even exist, other than those who've
yeah, I could say it
gone
was just a
about.
theory.
like the people do literally. What is the word exactly? Where they scarification. I think that's something Sonia knows about with the earlobes and with the teeth. Obviously, I mean vampires don't focus on earlobes so much. They might focus on ears, getting real pointy kind of Spock ears. But yeah, does anyone here think that vampires really exist outside the realm of science fiction?
Well, I have something to
Yes.
say.
Go ahead.
Just being in close proximity to the scarification realm, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks who it's body modification is what that is.
Uh-huh.
So there's some folks who maybe they're not necessarily vampires as far as needing blood to live kind of thing or as food, but they I guess pretend or try and transform themselves into something closer to that. And there's even folks that go around drinking blood, whatever blood it is. I don't know for sure. Okay,
Well,
that's
that's
not the
true. Well,
point.
that's they do that. There
You know
are
what I'm
some
talking about?
people. Oh, well, sure. There's a whole
Yeah,
underground
that's right.
alternative community. They role play being vampires, drinking blood, and all
Exactly.
kinds of gross
And they take it very
shit.
seriously. A lot of them do.
Oh
So,
God.
and that goes along with body modification.
I've actually
However,
done shows on it. Yeah,
Right.
and I actually had a writer, producer, and person of well known come on, Corvus Nocturne. He came in with me, and he's a practicing vampire, but he's also an occultist, a satanic occultist as well. So for a show, or two or three, he's been on a lot of the
That's
Cafe
not a
Enigma, and
surprise,
also he's been on quite a few Nancy's old show when she originally did just interviews with people instead of having a group of folks in. But I actually talked to someone who was assigned to Area 51, an old guy, Floyd Petrie. All right, and they have vampires over there, and they are very ancient, and they've been here for a long time. And the practice goes back way beyond Egypt. There are not a lot of them, according to him, but they are well known.
Do they?
to be there.
What powers or prop feature characteristics they have? They
He
fly.
never got into that. He never
Okay.
got into that.
All right.
Just like werewolves,
Right.
there are people that can shapeshift, but they're also dogman, which does not shapeshift. There's like three thoughts about dogman right now. One is it's interdimensional like Bigfoot. Another one, it's a genetic experiment by governments. Another one is it was left behind underground for eons by a race of aliens, and Jack actually talks a lot about that. So
Jack Carey, sure.
Yeah.
I like talking
Yeah.
about Bat Dog Man. I think it's a very interesting phenomenon. I believe that
Yeah.
it's a government experiment more than
Yeah. Some of it, I believe, is with the super soldier programs, and but it's been documented for centuries, though. You have, you even have in Egypt, you have Anubis, all right? You have in Greece where a king was turned, he was cursed by Zeus because he was a cannibal. He's like, okay, well, if you want to eat people, well, you can't be a person and worship me. I'm going to curse you so that you eat people. And he became the dog, a wolf in
a wolf.
like
Yeah,
man.
that's where
A wolf
the word
like
comes
man.
from.
A wolf like man.
Lycanthropy.
A werewolf,
word-
you mean?
But it wasn't
Shape-shifting.
lycanthropy. He did not.
A
He
lichen,
did not make him a lycanthrope. He cursed him into that particular
form, yeah.
thing. Okay,
Mhm.
and also there have been tribes in Persia of these dog men.
Oh, you know, in France, they were all over France.
Marco Polo ran into a tribe of them.
Yeah,
And
they're all
I
over
believe
France
he did
in
some
the Middle Ages.
trading with them.
They're all
Robert?
over France in the Middle Ages, and they're also in the Caribbean and French colonies. They call it the loup-garou, L-O-U-G-A-R.
That's right.
Loup-garou, yeah.
Rougarou, yep.
But
That's the French name for it.
It's said just mostly to be a myth.
But it's
well,
been
what
seen.
I've read, the cases. Listen, I've
like
read
Bigfoot.
criminal cases from France in the Middle Ages. So,
I don't
criminal
cases,
and it's kind of it's like a voodoo tradition, I would think, and it's been transferred, like a subcult of voodoo. That's what I believe about loup-garou.
And if there's a DNA, if the DNA alteration via the ETs, if they're messing around, who knows what that could, the end product of that could be.
Well, here's the thing. The theory that I, again, this was back when I was listening to Coast to Coast AM on a regular basis. One of the theories that got postulated by one of the guests, and don't ask me to remember what the name of this guest was, is that at some point in humans' future, they have tampered around with human DNA so much that the native strain in that timeline or in that particular place is starting to degrade. So they have to go back in time and get undamaged, unfiltered DNA, like basically raw DNA,
pure bloods
off of people, and bring it back to their time to maintain the stockpiles, basically just to maintain the species that they've currently got, right? Because it's like,
I think that's why they had the flood. I think that was the reason for the flood, to wipe out a tainted specimen or version of man. The whole thing I read now in the Bible is contamination of human DNA by what we call Satan or Samael. That I wrote this up earlier this week. I have this theory of the snake flu and the serpent virus. And it is because Eve had sex with a reptilian alien that presented itself as a deity, and it was upright, and it contaminated her. It gave her a venereal disease, which then she transferred to Adam. Now, the interesting thing is that I was reading in the Talmud commentary on the fall of man, and it said specifically in these words, it said, Satan injected filth into Eve. And the word injection really tipped me off.
Yeah.
He infected the human race with a virus that damaged our primordial DNA. It damaged the telomeres and took away our potential for immortality. If the telomeres stayed intact and perfectly replicated, our bodies would never get old. It's because of the deterioration of telomeres that cells go through aging.
Or I wrote closer to like.
Hang on, Naroki.
Closer to Methuselah. You're saying that,
right?
Continue. I won't interrupt.
Contaminated too. Methuselah. See, the humans live less and less. Methuselah lived long, but he was already damaged by the contamination of the human genome. And then I believe that Jesus was actually a genetic reparation job that was conducted at Qumran. We talk in metaphysics and theology about the reparation of Christ, and people really don't understand that reparation means repair. And so I see the genesis of Jesus Christ and John the Baptist as a long culmination of a long-term experiment to reconstitute the Adamic gene in its pure form and restore Adam. And so I take it that that's the theology, and that what Jesus really taught was a way of repairing our own DNA during our lives if we follow the precepts. So that's my belief. And the snake flu got us. And you know what? I wrote, it seems to me like Satan came back to give humanity a second dose of filth through injection with the mRNA vaccine. And mRNA may have been the way that he contaminated the human race in the first place. It's a return of evil. So don't put anything alien in your bodies, folks. And there are alien things. There are really alien things inside the mRNA vaccine. I was the one who identified the Hydra. When Stu Peters came out and who was it? Carrie Madej found this tentacle creature creeping around in the mRNA residue. I saw it. I said, holy mackerel, that's a Hydra. And it turned out to be Hydra vulgaris. So there's filth in the mRNA vaccine, in addition to SM-102, which is so toxic that the FDA forbade its use in anything, in any experiments involving humans, and yet they put it into the mRNA vaccine. So I think that we are under assault, and it's an alien invasion. And the alien invasion is not necessarily spaceships in the sky, but perhaps this genetic modification of human beings from within. We really do have now two subspecies or two races. We have people who were injected with mRNA, and we have people who refused it. And I believe that that's a line of a bifurcation in the evolution of humanity, unless they mix again.
Well, and that's what Bill Gates has on the table. His agenda is to shoot it right into the world livestock supply, for example. So we have no choice. It's it's just like GMO. You know, at first they did GMO, and then now it's mRNA. Ooh, it's like boosted. You know, you could say mRNA boosted. You know, try to sell it to the public in that way, or just maybe try to slip it in there quietly so nobody, until they're forced to be more upfront about what it is that they're whether it is that they're promoting.
Disease. Did you hear about that disease in spreading through the Caribbean? Something like Chucaminga fever, and they say it's being spread by Bill Gates's mosquitoes that he released in Florida. You remember
right.
Area mosquitoes apparently are creating this new fever.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Naroki.
Yeah, hold on.
Watch
Yeah, just
Chucaminga. Wow. How about that, eh? Are you ready, Naroki, or should we hand it over to Mark or Sonia?
I'm ready. I'm good to go here. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about theology and that sort of thing. I will defer to Robert Morningstar on it. Yeah, there is a long-standing tradition of creatures really wanting to get a hold, particularly pure strains of human particularly the reproductive cells, right? There's a number of things you can do with that beyond just simply propagate. You can make all sorts of creatures. You can redesign them. It's like,
So you're talking about targeting a woman when she's ovulating, is that right?
Well, no, they don't necessarily have to do. I mean, getting some of the egg cells out of with the alien abduction, getting some of the reproductive egg cells out of a woman.
But that's women when they're ovulating. Like there's only one. You're talking about not the egg, but the cells.
Wrong. Naroki is right. You can extract eggs directly from the ovaries.
Okay.
They don't.
What does that have to do with having had the shot and people?
Contamination.
Well, contamination, of course. The contamination is in the bloodstream.
Pollution.
Because of what the constituents of the shot. So when a woman becomes pregnant now, the mRNA goes into the fetus, and many women, I think 80% of women who got the shot were having miscarriages.
Yeah,
I'm talking about people who haven't had that shot, but who who post menopause start menstruating again.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
you
did
know,
you guys hear
Sonia,
about
there
that?
is
You know?
exposure to shedding, and it is true. It is real. It has happened. The thing
Well,
is that the person that's been shed upon is not necessarily becoming a factory for the spike protein, but people who got the shot, they're factories. That process is an ongoing replication of spike
well,
protein.
what I want to bring up about that is that if it's not an actual vaccine and doesn't work in the way that vaccines normally would work, from what I've gathered, then I've heard before people saying that it can't be shedded, or shedding can't be possible because it's not the same like reaction that a normal vaccine before the mRNA thing came about would have. So and the reason why this is so important to me is because this has happened to me before, to where it's because I'm post, you know what I'm saying, and then
Yes.
hanging out, like going out in public, and then I'm like, what is going on here, so
Well, it could be 5G technology.
very well
That
could
could
be.
be it. You
Yeah.
know, radio frequencies. We're being bathed in
Yeah, that's right.
multifarious high frequency technologies or wavelengths now that God only knows what it's doing to our
Exactly.
bio, to the fundamental.
Electrosmog.
Yeah, electrosmog.
More than
Good,
that.
good
More
point.
than just smog, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
No.
mean, it's
Well,
so bad.
it's terrible. Yeah.
Hmm.
But as we were talking about in the first hour with Mark, any of these wild experiments or ways that the powers that be are going about rolling out their agenda 2030 and then some, like with CERN, for example, and the experiments and risks that they're taking, the dropping of the first atom bomb, something I'm sure Robert knows about, and Oppenheimer's comments, and then the potentiality, people within, I guess it was the Manhattan Project, they knew, or they speculated, that it could destroy the whole world potentially, that it could set off a chain reaction and the world would just be obliterated. As with CERN, similarly, and the implications of that, they feel the risk is worth it. That's you hear that time and again. The risk is worth it. That's the kind of, it seems to me kind of almost a psychopathic.
That's why I say they're insane.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Reasoning.
Science is demented, and we shouldn't rely on science anymore. It's betrayed the human race.
They're dangerous, very dangerous.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
All right, I'm not sure how much time we have left here. Gosh, there's so much more we could get to. Digital ID, that was the one big thing, because that's what we have here running with the cover photo, the splash photo. Quick disclaimer, once again, regarding the whole kill shot business and so forth. We're not here to offer any formal medical, legal, there's always a third category, medical, legal, or health advice, I guess, so.
Financial.
Financial as well, yeah, sure. But, leave that in the hands completely of you, the audience members, as you make of it what you will. We're just here mostly to educate and entertain, as it were. I guess that's the way some people put it, at least when they have their live streams. So, and that the views and opinions expressed on behalf of myself and the show's co-hosts here do not necessarily reflect those of either the wider listening audience nor the show's sponsors. So, digital ID, we got to get to that before they shut us down here, kick us off at Teams. Anyone have anything? Like, I'm thinking Britain, there's a lot of pressure. There's a bit of an uprising at the grassroots, as you can imagine. I guess Tony Blair is a big fan of digital ID. The same Tony Blair, from what I hear, who's been tapped. Love that, and you wonder, like, what part of his anatomy exactly has been tapped to get him to all these positions offered to him. But yeah, to rule over Gaza. I mean, that's like,
isn't that the British mandate returning?
Really,
right?
Yeah, it almost seems. Yeah,
A
that's
throwback
right.
to the 1930s. Shit.
Have you been following that at all? And the digital ID too, with respect to our
I've been
health
following.
and
He's appointed as a co-director of the board for peace.
Well, come on. The British probably look at it as, oh, yeah, that's just the state of Israel, not the country. And, oh, we'll just make Tony the governor of, that area.
Governor of Gaza.
Grand Mufti. The Grand Mufti.
Gaza.
He's got to be the Grand
It has a
Mufti.
nice ring to it. The governor of Gaza.
Do you know that the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, do you know who his nephew was?
Tell me.
Yasser Arafat.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Do you remember the picture of the Mufti meeting with Hitler? The famous picture of them? Was that in Jerusalem?
I also know a lot about the Muslim SS. There was a Muslim SS army in Yugoslavia.
Blacks as well, yes?
They were so ruthless, they turned the stomach of the Gestapo.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
The Muslims in Yugoslavia.
The Gestapo really took that nightly. They had a sense of they're principled. They were quite, the way they were raised was like, I hear this time and again, that they were not necessarily the monsters that many in the West have been led to believe. They were just following orders, of course, and there were some extreme, really, there were some pretty horrific, monstrous people within their ranks. This, once again, going back to the scientific experimentation and the reason we saw the Nuremberg Code, come to be. But yeah, they were quite an honorable breed, was what I hear time and again. I'm not sure how applicable that was to Western forces, but the blacks, Robert, do you know anything about African divisions? Weren't there's African representation, like fighting for the Nazis?
Africans that were definitely African core.
African representation in what?
Fighting in support of the Nazis. We're wearing Nazi uniforms.
No, I don't know about that. I've never heard of that.
Okay. Naroki?
Africans, they're black Africans serving in the African Corps. There's an actual, in fact, I've even got the photo of it. There were definitely people from India who actively helped and participated in the Nazis during World War.
Really?
Okay.
Where did they serve? What was their geographic location? Where were they deployed to? Because you're saying the Africans remained, like, probably working with Rommel. Is that right? In North Africa?
Yeah, Africa, of course, that's right.
Well, keep in mind, Rommel didn't buy into race theory, right? He was more about just more necessarily about just fighting a war and winning. He wasn't into all of that adherence to racial dogma or whatever. That was the actual Nazi party itself. So yeah, there were blacks that were serving. Obviously, they left them behind when Rommel took his Africa Corps back to Europe. But I mean, yeah, there were blacks that were serving in the Africa Corps in Africa. And I'm trying to remember what the name of that Indian, the Indians in World War, Indian Nazi battalion.
Where would they have been deployed, the Indians?
Were deployed on the Eastern Front, I believe.
Oh, against Russia. I guess that's what you're saying. That's wild. So, okay. Well, okay. Digital ID then, and the Prison Planet agenda, which I thought I'd heard at one time came from the Jesuits. Robert is the guy who would probably know if that was the case. In fact, checking and confirming or not shooting it down. But I guess it was
I don't think digital ID came from the Jesuits.
No. Prison Planet. The term. Prison Planet.
Came from a lot of people.
The term Prison Planet via rooted origins courtesy of some back in the day courtesy of the Jesuits. Apparently that's not the truth. That's what I heard back in the day. So
Alex Jones.
Well, no, actually the science fiction writers. Now was that Mark? Did he did he set us straight on that? I did check the Chat GPT, and it seems that there indicates something about the science fiction. I'd have to go back once again to get a clear picture, but
Excuse me, that sounds like something that Asimov would say.
yeah, well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Prison technocracy. Hello, it's like you can't go anywhere without. As it is right now, every nanoparticulate with 5G and Wi-Fi, it's been weaponized. Clear, obviously, and V2K, voice to skull. I mean, come on, and the vibrational frequency of our atmosphere, what we're living in. In addition to the education system, food supply, big pharma, media, pop culture, anywhere you go. So that's why I agree that we'll never find any real great truth in looking outside of ourselves, as Christ talked about. That and I think it's only that one place in Matthew, is it not, Robert, where he talks about going home and sitting down and going within yourself, basically, to connect.
Jill would be more expert in that. Right now, I like to do a show and tell. You know what this is?
This
is a
okay.
Rife frequency generator.
Oh.
They're finally out.
Oh, is that now? Who was that?
Reich?
Reich? Was that
Reich?
Wilhelm Reich?
No, RIFE. Rife.
So
Royal Reich.
Oh, and what is its function? What is its purpose, origins, etc.?
Royal Rife was healing people in the 1930s using radio frequencies.
You're kidding.
To heal illness, diseases, and
oh my God.
He mapped out the natural resonant frequency of every organ in a healthy human being, and he found that it was common when healthy human beings, each organ had a particular frequency.
Holy shit.
So he developed a machine to treat individual organs to restore the frequency that he had determined was the natural frequency. And he was pretty successful. And then, of course, organized
Rockefellers,
big pharma, all of those creatures. They were still around in those days.
Can't have that.
But there's a booklet that comes with it, instruction booklet, on which frequencies. Let me just read you a couple of which frequencies do what. Because I knew about Royal Rife for 25, 30 years, but the frequencies were not known. They apparently had been lost, but they were found. And they have something like 528 hertz. Benefits, promotes cellular repair, DNA transformation, love, and miracles. Use deep healing, emotional upliftment. Now, all of this is true because the Russians found out that these frequencies, depending on the frequency, you can either knock somebody into an absolute suicidal depression or make them feel happy and cheerful.
That's right.
Or just go into panic and frenzy.
That's right.
They went through the frequencies. So anyway, it's really nice that these gadgets are now available.
Wow.
So I have to say for one.
What sort of price tag are we looking at there?
I think they're down to about $79.
Oh my God.
So if you're curious, yeah, I know, that's what I mean. Royal Rife machine.
Holy jeez.
Really expensive. People started making it in the 90s again.
$79.
It's prohibitive.
Yeah.
So we can. I'm down for that. Do we gotta at least try it out? See how it.
Yeah, I used it on my knee. I whacked my knee out of joint a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
How's it working?
Yeah, everything's fine now.
What?
As a matter of fact, I went for a run the other day, first time in a long time, because I'd really jacked up my knees and my hips.
I can't run. I got arthritis in my knees, man. As if I run.
You can't run and you can't hide, man.
I'm not trying. I'm not.
Check it out, Jeffy. Get you on the track.
I got arthritis, man. It's like really, I'm all messed up. I can walk, but it's like crack, 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 crack,
Well,
crack.
of course, I'm sure that Rice got something for that.
Maybe.
Right,
Maybe
Robert?
hopefully, yeah. I'm not. That's
Yeah.
it's well worth the hell. $80. Why not?
Research it. Really, it's
Yeah,
fascinating
research it.
stuff. It makes a lot of sense. Also, in terms of I believe that rife frequencies go along with cymatics. You know, that
Yes.
the frequency.
That makes sense.
Cymatics are what exactly?
Cymatics is it's
Oh,
patterns in matter that are created by sound
Frequency.
frequencies.
Okay.
That's the simplest way to explain it. And so I
Wow.
believe that
Yeah.
right frequencies may be imparting the right shape and form and agglomeration of
Emoto.
tissue.
It's like Emoto.
Yeah, like
When-
Emoto, and all of
Mhm.
this is we're getting to the nitty gritty of integration.
Mhm.
All
We
of
have
it.
we have
Once-
limited time here,
Now waiting for the
mateys.
100 monkey phenomenon to happen. When the 100th monkey gets it,
Mhm.
all of the monkeys will know it at the same
Mhm.
time. That's what I've described as my goal. You know, that to wake people up, the expansion of consciousness.
Yep.
What do they call it? Arriving at the noosphere. The noosphere was
Oh, my.
hypothesized by a Jesuit named Teilhard de Chardin. And he said that at the end of time, all of human consciousness would meld into one awareness of itself as one awareness. It's a really interesting
Now,
concept.
is that hive mind or something different?
No, I think it's different than hive mind. Hive mind is when everybody thinks the same thing, but the noosphere is when everybody knows everything.
Well, and how about
Much different than
singularity?
the manosphere.
The singularity, like everyone, and then it's the question of whose version of oneness or hive mind or singularity. That's really the issue. So it's in a big way.
It's pure
So
consciousness.
yeah,
It's just arriving at pure consciousness. I like to say consciousness without content. When I've experienced my moments of illumination, I would say that the primary one, the first one, is the awareness of self existing in the infinite void of space without time.
that's
Because
duality.
there's a moment. No, there's only one moment. It's not duality. It's before the awakening. So you have to get into a really quiet space, devoid of all sensorial input, you know, and get to the core, root consciousness. Consciousness without content. Think about that
Orgone,
idea.
the orgone box,
Yeah,
orgone.
it's the ultimate life force itself. Life force itself.
We're unfortunately a little short on time here. You know, if we
I'm gonna
get cut
bail out.
off, if we get cut off, I will. Don't worry, folks. Once again, I thank you so much for your support, contributions. Hey, we got Cliff Rockefeller coming up this Friday. Do we not, Sonia? Let's hear a little bit
That's
more on that
right.
one.
That's right, we do. He's your guest. I mean, you picked him out. I'm not sure exactly what he's all about, really.
Anarchy,
What is he about?
anarchy,
Is that
rebellion, and riding motorbikes. Hey, so who knows
Sweet.
what we're gonna be
It should
hearing
be
from this
great, for
guy?
sure.
But he's
Yeah.
a jack of all trades, master of none, Renaissance man. It sounds like a real raconteur. Probably be able to talk our ear off when it comes to any
Yeah.
topic whatsoever. Just the surname itself, Rockefeller. Is that a play on words?
I think it is, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Friday at 8, right? This
Yep.
Friday at 8, we're doing that. Okay.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
then Saturdays here, 12 noon, of course, Tokyo and
Yes.
Seoul.
Out in your
11
part of the
p.m.
world.
back in the Eastern time zone there. New York, where Robert's based out of, Miami, and Toronto. So thank you to everyone once again. We don't have a clock here exactly. It's for some reason Teams is not showing anything in that regard, although they did a few minutes ago say, look, you've only got like 15 more to go here. You better, just so you're aware. But anyone have any last breaking announcements or items you'd like to share with folks before we call us a night here?
Well, just one, and because I don't usually cover sports on my show, but I will be this week. Connor McDavid signed an extension with the Oilers yesterday. So yeah, again, not necessarily real. Not like I say, it's not necessarily something that's related, but it will be something that I'm going to be covering on my show. Not 764, but 65. Yeah, he's basically signed an extension, and he actually took a pay cut.
For all you hockey
stay in Edmonton.
fans, all you hockey fans out there, my brother actually is part of the farm team network. He works as a regional scout for the, I think it's the Flames, Oilers. Well, I think it's the Oilers actually. So it's he's done quite well for himself. But I gave up hockey myself years ago. So I know it's.
Don't forget tomorrow. I have Brent Hamachek coming in from Human Events and Turning Point with Censorship Sucks, and then to end it on that show, we will have the CEO of Beam, Angel Munoz.
How about that? I hope with your Turning Point guy, you got some really big guests. It's like really
and he knew Charlie.
I guess
real good.
I guess
he was a good friend of Charlie.
Oh, geez. A lot of people were good friends of Charlie's. He was a likable guy, I guess, you know. So
yeah.
So I'm sure he'll have a few ideas, few theories as to what actually happened. It's a real.
He probably won't talk about that.
Really?
He's
Come on, man! It's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, but he, that's up to him. If he's going
are you going to press him on it? You can't. You got to press him on it.
We will not.
Well, then I guess
if he wants to do that, he will. He's got a lot of stuff with Human Events and Turning Point, but he does more with not Turning Point USA, but he does more with Human Events than he does with Turning Point.
What if you get questions via the Peanut Gallery? People wanting to know, they're following along.
Well, we'll pass it along to him if he wants to take an answer or talk about that. That would be fine. But he also put out a book as well, American Dissident. So that's a really good read if you very Turning Point type book about getting people to bridge and talk. So
you mean promoting dialogue between people who necessarily wouldn't necessarily be conversing.
That's the goal between both of those.
And us as well. Let's not forget we're all about.
Yeah, and then I'll have after all that, I'll have Jack Carey come.
Oops, there we just lost our team's feed. So Naroki wanted to get a last word in there regarding one matter or the next. Unfortunately, that's going to have to wait for another time. Hope everyone has got something out of the 2 hours plus here. What we've produced again this week. Show segment number 335, World Pirate Radio News. Thanks to all of our contributors, co-hosts, commentators, and friends, and audience members as well. There's a great shot of the Canadian Freedom Convoy from a number of years ago, something that was not reported at all here in South Korea. Isn't that interesting? There was not a single mention of the Freedom Convoy that I was aware of whatsoever. Out of sight, out of mind. A real tragedy. But then again, it just goes to show, who owns the media. As Van Morrison sings about, one of his latest projects, they own the media. Angelica Fuller, thanks for the invite. What is this live about? It's about anything you want to make it, really, Angelica. So, any thoughts, comments, questions regarding weekly news cycle, of course, what's top in your mind? We had a whole list of items, talking points, of course, people that have passed away. This last week, Jane Goodall, of course, one of the big names. Ongoing Christian genocide in Nigeria. A lot of people. It's horrific, man. Speaking of the media and what the actual agenda is, why are we not hearing more about that? Quite peculiar. The radical Muslims in that country are just laying waste I'm not sure why it is that Christians have not taken sufficient measures to arm and defend themselves as the Muslims have. Who's supplying these weapons? Why is there such a such a lopsided balance? Why is it that they have to be targeting Christians in the first place? Why can't they just live together in peace? They're Nigerians first and foremost, are they not? Whatever their religious affiliation is, it's quite second to what you would think their sense of identity would be about. Here in South Korea, knock wood, well, thank God they live together. They're Koreans first and foremost, and their religious life and identity is second to that. So thankfully, only a small number of Muslims in the country at this particular time. Hopefully, it will stay that way for as long as they can manage it. I think hopefully we all know what happens when you allow too many Muslims into your country. It ends up in a pretty terrible situation where suddenly Sharia law is on the table. Not a good thing. Uh, all about equal rights, freedoms, religious freedoms, equal rights, until they achieve the majority. It's only while they're in the minority that it's, equal rights and freedom for all. Once the tables turn, though, suddenly it becomes a major problem in destabilizing society. So, entire mafia family in China recently being sentenced to death. I guess they, not sure what it was exactly, embezzlement, or I think they may have been involved in gambling casinos and the like. So, probably it could very well be the post-modern or meta-modern remnants of the pirate bloodline families that have existed in places such as the Hong Kong, Canton region of China for quite a few years, all along the East Coast. Zheng Ji, was that Madam Ji? Is that right? Same surname as what the current president has, as a matter of fact. So I'm not sure if that's a coincidence. She herself, though, was a very high profile. I mean, you talk to people here about, Blackbeard and the like, and the greatest pirate was this one and the next via the Brethren of the Coast out of the Caribbean clearly have not looked at the story of Madame T. The fleet, the armada that she commanded was simply, and all with red flags too. Interestingly, back, oh geez, would that be the mid 1700s, early 1800s? Have to look up the details regarding her life story. It really is quite something, though. Just epic. She didn't really stand for much, interestingly. She ran a very tight ship for quite a few years. So, all right. Well, along with digital ID, the question being raised here this week: why did Trump suddenly post an item regarding med beds and then almost just as quickly delete it? Some people think the secret space program is being exposed. A little further example of partial disclosure. So, something we hear about from time to time, med beds, not to be confused with Russian, what is he, Prime Minister? Second in command to Putin in Russia, Medved. We have the surname right. So, Gaza aid flotilla being attacked. 2-year anniversary, of course. Have they managed to reach a peace deal? Interesting, it's not referred to as a truce. And has it really been a war? It's been a pretty lopsided war, if you ask me. Very much, given the fact that you're looking at, what is it, 3/4 of the population of Gaza being women and children. People on the run, homeless, hungry, unarmed. I mean, what more does it take to actually refer to someone as an innocent victim? And to think that October 7th wasn't an inside job, you've really got to give yourself your head a shake. I mean, come on. How much more obvious would they have to have made it? Theo Von bombs Netflix special. I kind of like Theo Von. I don't know how, maybe he wasn't as well as prepared as he should have been. You know, is this the first ever big comedy special that he's attempted? I wonder if there's any footage of what was recorded, if we're ever going to be able to see that. Bootleg content and material. Yeah, the Rogan sphere, speaking of comedy, comedian Tyler Fisher banned from Rogan's comedy mothership. A lot of talk regarding Rogan's Austin base comedy mothership. Oh, jeez, what is the bloody website where they talk this they lampooning the parody unslaved elephants, sleeping elephants? Bloody hell. Maybe we can look this up as we wind things down here. Thanks to Zap Zap as well. Angelica, Sonia, all you lurkers, of course. Everyone else dropped by and added their thoughts, comments, questions, what have you. Sharing the content, always appreciated. Sharing, liking, commenting. Remembering to hit subscription notification buttons. Checking out our Patreon. In fact, which you can sign up for free, actually, and then take it from there as you're so inclined on a per item basis. Let us know if you're connecting over on Patreon, and we'll be sure to keep you in the loop. Merchandise as well via galacticfire.com/pirate. Digital love, always appreciated in a really big way as well. Passing word along to friends, family, and coworkers. So we'll be back here this Friday night, 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 11 places such as New York, Miami, Montreal, where you call home with Cliff Rockefeller. Conversation could pretty much go anywhere. It's going to be engaging, though, so be sure to bring to the table what you're able to in engaging this highly intriguing individual. Remember, of course, as always, WPRPN.com is the main website. Hire One Radio at Proton Mail, our email address. not only if you have show suggestions or guest ideas, but also support you'd like to show us via the PayPal end of things. On behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and all the rest of the crew here down in Skullport Harbor, until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas, I'm your host, as always, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you, keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Tally-ho!